What's the real reason GM is laying off over 14,000 people? Does anybody know? What's the real reason GM is laying off 14,000 people? I told you they would. I told you these car companies are going to start laying off people. Why? Because the price of steel has gone up an enormous amount. They're locked into these various contracts. They have to cut production and cut jobs, and it's only going to get worse. And if you don't think Ford is going to be affected by it, you're wrong. They're all going to be affected by it. It's basic economics. The domestic steel industry is making huge, huge profits. And I want them to make huge profits, just not on the backs of the automobile industry and other industries in this country. The old-fashioned way. They always have their cup out. Always wanting subsidies, always wanting tariffs. Well, they got them. They got them. So the automobile companies use more steel than anybody else. And so GM is looking for areas to cut. And it ought to cut the stupid electric car stuff, which it is. But it's not enough because nobody buys electric cars, so they have to cut other areas. You look at new car sales. Go ahead and Google this. You don't have to rely on me. New car sales are flat. Why are they flat? Because you're not buying new cars. Why? Because they're more expensive than they were a year and a half ago. But the used car market is very hot right now. Why? Because the tariffs don't affect the price of used cars. I've told you many times, this isn't an ideological thing with me. It's rationality. I believe that we all use tariffs and every other economic tool we have and national security tool we have against China. And from my perspective, that would have included bringing our allies along, because they're the enemy. They're the real enemy. Rather than going to economic battle with all of our allies. I never bought this. And you know that. And some of you are yelling at me now. You can yell all you want. I'm just telling you why GM is actually cutting jobs. The price of steel is going through the roof. And my greatest fear, quite frankly, is in a year and a half or 2 years, we're going to have a terrible recession. That's my greatest fear. It takes a little bit of time for economic dislocation to have an effect. Time will tell if I'm right or all the others are right. That the laws of economics have been suspended the last 2 years. And somehow, the first time in modern history, tariffs have created wealth across the board. Tariffs create wealth for certain segments of the economy. And they create poverty in other segments of the economy. That's what they do. And so we shall see. The president even knows I strongly disagree with him on this. It doesn't matter. It's just my opinion. I'm just a radio host. We don't need to debate tariffs. We'll see how it plays out. I see how it's playing out, and it's going to, I think, play out even more. That's what I'm very, very concerned about. Same objective here, but I don't believe in the Bernie Sanders approach. I never have. It's not a matter of, I disagree with you, Mark. That's like, I disagree that water is wet. It is what it is. It's not something that I'm inventing about tariffs, but I don't want to spend the whole show on it. It's boring.